Welcome to TAC Talk. I'm your host, Nadira Nazir. My guest today has been involved in various levels of politics at a very young age. Patrick Brown has a broad background in government and a highly regarded reputation for getting the job done. He serves 2 terms municipally as a city councillor, 3 terms in the federal parliament, and most recently as the provincial leader of the official opposition at Queen's Park. Patrick is now running for mayor of Brampton for the upcoming October 22nd election. Patrick's philosophy on politics is, there is no monopoly on a good idea, and we all need to work together to better serve our community. Welcome, Patrick.
Great to be back on TAG TV.
Yeah, good to have you. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
So I wanted to start off with the elephant in the room, right? I wanted to kind of answer the questions and get that over with. With the election being 5 weeks away, what would you like the people of Brampton to know about the false allegations?
Well, the false allegations that I had to endure right before the provincial election, it was horrifying, you know, to have your name slandered, to have a media organization, a reputable media organization, not do their due diligence is not something I would wish on my worst enemy. Having said that, there's now a legal process where there's a lawsuit against CTV for $8 million for the defamation, and I hope that they're accountable for not doing their due diligence, for airing a story that was false. But you can't look backwards, you can only look forwards, and my focus now is on getting Brampton back on track and making the city that's been hurting with crime and high taxes and traffic and a lack of good paying jobs. That's what I'm pouring my energy into. I'm a positive person, and I'm really excited about this task.
And that's the attitude to have, right? So deal with it and then kind of move on. So let me ask you the question. Why did you choose to run for Brampton?
So my mom's side of the family is from Barrie. My dad's family has had roots here in Brampton for 40 years. I live downtown Brampton with my fiance. Before I was an MP, I practiced law in Brampton, and I saw this city, an incredible city with incredible people, not realizing its potential, falling further and further behind. This was Bill Davis's Brampton. It was the envy of Ontario. It was known as safe, prosperous. It was, frankly, where people wanted to live. 30 years ago, Brampton and Mississauga had about the same commercial square footage. Both cities, you know, were doing well at recruiting industry. But something's happened in the last 30 years, and Mississauga has taken off with success, and Brampton has really declined. 30 years ago it was about the same. Now Mississauga has 50 million feet of commercial space, and in Brampton it's 2 million. 2 million square foot. Mississauga had a Hazel McCallion, and she was a legend, and she was aggressive, and she chased investment. In Brampton, we've had failed political leadership that hasn't delivered results for the community. What
do you think caused the decline?
I think poor political leadership has been at the heart of it. You know, Hazel would make 40 phone calls a day and pitch businesses to come to Mississauga. She was hungry, she was tenacious, she would really go to bat for Mississauga, and we haven't had that tenacity in Brampton.
Yeah, they call her the Hurricane Hazel.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I think she's like 96 years old and
97.
97 and still going very strong. So that being said, I want to ask you a few questions regarding the challenges that's facing Brampton today. So let's start with crimes. So what are your thoughts, and what do you think should be done to reduce crime in Brampton?
So crime has gone through the roof. Last year was a record year for shootings. This year it's even higher. The mayor seems to think everything is fine, but it's not. You open the paper every day and there's new stories about crimes, bank robberies, murders. This is not the Brampton we know. So I announced 2 weeks ago a 5-point plan to tackle public safety, to hit the ground running with good ideas to address this escalating crime. And my 5-point plan, first of all, I announced a task force of experts to report back to me by October 22nd with the path forward. Longtime Councillor Gail Miles is chairing the committee. Pastor Jerry Thompson, who has been very involved in marginalized communities facing adversity. Adrian Woolley from the Peel Police Association. This task force is gathering good ideas of how to get Brampton back on track on public safety. But there were sort of 5 areas that I pointed the committee in. One, the shortage of officers. The provincial average is 189 officers for every 100,000 residents. We have about 25% less in Brampton. Our mayor has starved the police of the resources to do their job. What that means, Nadira, is the police don't have the resources to respond to all crimes. There are crimes that happen in Brampton every day that do not get investigated because of lack of resources. Break and enters, car thefts. My approach would be different. Zero tolerance on all crime. I want to make sure that even minor crimes are investigated, because if you allow a criminal industry to grow from the bottom up, it spreads. Right now, because of this approach of not investigating all crimes, you've seen crimes like car thefts and break and enters grow. The second thing I talked about in my plan for public safety in Brampton is mental health supports. Last year, 42% of the Peel police calls were mental health related. Yet we don't have the proper mental health supports like they have in Hamilton and other communities. In Brampton, you respond to a police call that's mental health related, and the police officer could be in the hospital 6 to 8 hours waiting. You see all these police cars at the hospital. It's not a good use of police resources. Where with this COAST program, you have a mental health worker that waits for the individual to be admitted at the hospital rather than having the police officer waiting there. It's about freeing up resources. But then, dear, I also understand for public safety, it's not just freeing up police resources. You have to attack the root causes of crime, and that's always interrelated with poverty.
So your perspective is that it's poverty, it's lack of jobs?
Well, on poverty, there's 2 things that I pointed out. One, we have a 7-year backlog when it comes to affordable housing. 13,597 is the wait list currently. It goes up by 13% a year. We need to deal with this backlog in affordable housing. Too many people are living in poverty in Peel region. The other thing I'd mention is access to affordable recreation. You know, I've made some announcements about how we're going to invest in recreation. I previously talked about building a major world-class cricket pitch, about expanding recreation across the board in Brampton. I'm not happy right now that it costs more to have recreation in Brampton than almost anywhere else. It costs more to rent a football field, a soccer field, than almost anywhere else in the GTA. I want to get young people off the street. I want them to learn the beauty of teamwork, the beauty of sports. And when you create barriers where there's not available recreation, it's not good for a community. You look at countries with low crime rates, you look at the Nordic countries, they also invest disproportionately in recreation.
So you just need to get the folks, the youth of Brampton, to be more engaged. I know we have a quick video that we want to share, and then we're going to be right back. I have a few more questions to ask you that I'm sure the people of Brampton would like to hear your perspective on it. So let's play the video.
Brampton used to be known as a safe community, but crime has spiraled out of control. We have a dysfunctional Brampton City Hall that doesn't even give the police the resources to do their job. We have break and enters, car thefts that aren't even being investigated. As mayor, I will make sure the police have the resources to keep our community safe, and those that commit crimes will be held accountable. On top of that, 42% of the Peel Region police calls last year were mental health related. I'm going to make sure the police have the mental health supports to respond to those calls most adeptly. I'm also going to invest in community recreation, give young people a place for positive diversions, to learn the beauty of teamwork. As mayor, you can count on me to make sure Brampton is a safe community, is a community that gives you a sense of security. With new leadership at City Hall, we're going to get Brampton back on track.
Losing weight and feeling fit is a simple 3-point process: diet, exercise, and a weight reduction supplement. VegiSlim by Greenish is a Health Canada approved weight management formula that's effective, safe, vegetarian, and natural to use. Combined with the right diet and exercise plan, VeggieSlim will bring you back onto the path of healthy living.
Unfortunately, Brampton is getting to be known for gridlock and endless traffic. We have a dysfunctional City Hall that can't get anything done on dealing with Brampton's serious gridlock problem. The provincial funding for transit was lost due to a lack of leadership at City Hall, and we still don't have two-way, all-way go. Right now, the 410 is pretty much a parking lot every morning and afternoon, and people are like sardines on the GO train where you can't even find a seat. We need real provincial, federal, and municipal investment in transit and roads in Brampton. Scarborough is getting a brand new subway. Mississauga is getting state-of-the-art transit, and we are being completely forgotten in Brampton. Enough! It's time we become a city that isn't known for traffic. Let's get Brampton moving. Let's get Brampton back on track.
Welcome back. We are here today with Patrick Brown, candidate for Brampton Mayor. So we were talking earlier about crimes. So what I want to ask you a few more questions on people's mind is traffic. Traffic in Brampton is getting pretty brutal. What are your thoughts about how that could be improved?
Traffic is a mess in Brampton. The 410 is a parking lot. And moving in Brampton is so difficult. 65% of the city, because of a lack of jobs, has to leave Brampton every day. You look at the GO train. You get on the GO train in Brampton, it's like you're a sardine. You can't even find a seat. So a few things I want to talk about. One, we desperately need two-way, all-way go. That needs to be a priority. We need to make sure that happens. We also need modern transit. Our current mayor signed off on a bad deal, on a $200 million LRT extension that no one in Brampton wanted, and so it died. We should have pushed for more. You should have pushed for what they got in Scarborough. Scarborough's getting a $3 billion subway. It's not an above-ground, archaic transit that will stop existing cars like the mayor was thinking. In Scarborough, they're getting a modern transit system. If you look what they're doing in Hamilton, you look what they're doing in London, these communities are talking about modern transit. I would love to have modern transit in Brampton, where you have a north-south linkage, you have a east-west linkage where it could connect to the Vaughan subway. There's lots of opportunities to have modern transit in Brampton, but we need to get our fair share on transit funding if that's going to be possible.
So you mentioned a lot of people are leaving Brampton because they have to go to a job. So what are your plans to create jobs locally so that they don't have to leave the city?
This is one of the real challenges in Brampton. We have one of the worst mixes in the country when it comes to residential properties versus non-residential. It's about 79-21 right now. It makes it difficult for the tax base. It causes higher taxes. We need to be much more aggressive on economic development. And this summer, Dixie Cup announced that they're leaving Brampton after a long, long history. That plant is now will be sitting empty. Amazon announced a major employment center, a fulfillment center in Caledon. And they talked about how the mayor of Caledon went and pestered them and they got that plant in Caledon. Well, where was Brampton? Why was Brampton not making that pitch? If I'm mayor of Brampton, we're going to be much more aggressive on economic development, just like Hazel was in Mississauga. I'm going to tout the fact we're going to have no red tape, quick approvals, a quick streamlined process at City Hall, no red tape. We're also going to actually make those pitches. I'm going to go out there and pitch Brampton and say this is a city you want to be in. I'm going to highlight our young, well-educated workforce, multilingual workforce. I'm going to highlight how close we are to Pearson Airport and key transportation corridors. We're going to be aggressive on promoting Brampton well beyond the borders of Brampton.
And being close to the airport encourage a lot of, especially big corporations, right? Because there's a lot of visitors coming in and out. So the objective then is to really kind of position Brampton as the place to have your business.
There are natural advantages here. Hey, look what Hazel was able to do in Mississauga. There's no reason we can't do that in Brampton.
Absolutely. So the other thing too is property tax. Property tax is going up and up.
So taxes have soared in Brampton. For the first time, they're higher than they are in Toronto. It's not like you're getting better services. It's not like you get more police officers. You get less. It's not like you get better health care. It's worse. Less beds in Brampton. It's not like there's better transit. We don't even have a proper transit system. So you're paying more and getting less, and that's due to the negligence of failed political leadership in Brampton. And so we need to get more industry to level off the tax base. We need to be careful with every dollar that is spent at Brampton City Hall. We need to make sure that there's transparency at City Hall. Frankly, if you're a resident of Brampton, you're paying more, you've been let down, and I'm going to stop that cycle.
So before we go on a break, I'm sure the people of Brampton, and this is your camera, tell them what you will do if you become mayor, your first 30, 60, 90-day plan.
Well, if I had the honor to be the mayor of Brampton, first of all, I'm going to freeze your property taxes for the next 4 years. I'm going to aggressively focus on economic development. I'm going to make sure our community is safe. I'm going to work with law enforcement, community groups to make sure Brampton is once again a safe community. I'm going to deal with the gridlock that is suffocating Brampton and demand our fair share on transit funding so that Brampton can have modern transit. I'm going to advocate to the provincial and federal governments that we get our fair share in healthcare funding. We desperately need a new hospital. And I'm going to get everyone working together at City Hall. Right now we have a dysfunctional City Hall. The mayor doesn't talk to the chief of police. The mayor's not on talking terms with her own council. You need to get everyone paddling in the same direction in a canoe, and I'm going to bring that leadership and that unity to municipal politics, to municipal service, public service in Brampton. I can't wait to get Brampton back on track. It's a great community, and it certainly can succeed again.
Well, thank you for that, Patrick, and we're going to take a quick break and be right back.
Losing weight and feeling fit is a simple 3-point process: diet, exercise, and a weight reduction supplement. VegiSlim by Greenish is a Health Canada approved weight management formula that's effective, safe, vegetarian, and natural to use. Combined with the right diet and exercise plan, VegiSlim will bring you back onto the path of healthy living.
Behind me is the old Dixie Cup plant, and sadly it's leaving Brampton, yet another business to leave our community. We need to bring jobs back to Brampton. Almost 70% of Brampton leaves our community each day to go to work elsewhere. Enough. Brampton used to be a prosperous community, and we can't stand by as Brampton becomes a bedroom community. As mayor, I will personally pitch businesses to locate in Brampton. With personal tours of our employment lands, I will highlight our proximity to the airport, point out our educated young workforce, and promise no red tape at City Hall. Just like the great Hazel McCallion did in Mississauga, we need to go after investment. We can't wait for investment to come to us, and we have been lazy on economic development. It's time we get Brampton back on track with real leadership at City Hall.
And we are back with Patrick Brown, candidate for Mayor of Brampton. You guys just saw the video for jobs. Patrick, you want to add anything else to this video?
Well, that I really believe with an aggressive approach, we can really turn things around in Brampton, that we can have jobs and industry. And if you look at the employment potential, according to the Brampton 2040 vision, we have room for 115,000 jobs. We have the space, but we need to have that political leadership that goes and pitches Brampton across Canada, frankly, across the world, that this is a place you want to locate, this is a place you want to invest.
Absolutely. So what I want to get next to is on the lighter side. I want the people of Brampton to get to know who Patrick is. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of different questions. So just tell me. So what's your favorite color?
Probably blue. I'm a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, a Toronto Blue Jay fan, and it's certainly the color of our local sports teams.
So what's your favorite meals?
I've got an Italian mother, so I've always loved Italian food, but having said that, as someone who's been to India and Pakistan so many times, I love South Asian food as well.
So if, let's just say, you only have to live with one cuisine for the rest of your life, that you can only have one cuisine. I think it's harder to say one meal, but maybe one cuisine. Which cuisine would that be?
Probably Italian food. I've grown up on Italian food, so it's comfort food.
Excellent. And any vacation spot? What is your favorite vacation spot?
I would say Mauritius, where where you are from, Nadira, but I've never been to Mauritius. It's on my bucket list of one day to visit. I think there's some real beautiful spots in Canada. You look up in Muskoka, or if you look up in the Rockies, there are some magnificent parts of Canada that are just breathtakingly beautiful.
And your favorite vacation location so far, to date?
I once played in a hockey tournament up in the Himalayas, in Ladakh, and the mountains were majestic, and to say you played hockey at 13,000 feet is pretty special.
So are you a beach person or mountain, if you had to pick one?
Well, in Canada, because our winters are so long, I think we all become beach people. Right now, the weather is beautiful, and so we aren't thinking about winter, but I think every Canadian in January dreams of a beach if they're going to go on vacation.
So coming from the islands of Mauritius, I always thought I was a beach person all the time until I went to the Amalfi Coast in Italy.
Yeah.
And then I realized, hold up, I love both the oceans and the mountains. It looks absolutely beautiful. Do you cook?
You know, I have such a busy schedule that I'm rarely home to cook. I normally am out and about, but so I haven't practiced any culinary talents.
So I'm assuming just toast and eggs, maybe?
Normally it's whatever you can grab in the fridge and have in the car on the way out the door. Yeah.
And favorite sports?
I love hockey. I love tennis. I love running. I'm a very active person.
And any shows that, if you have a little bit of time, I know your schedule is super hectic. What is your favorite show?
Well, yeah, I don't get much time to watch TV. If I do, watching some hockey games, watching my Maple Leafs is always fun, especially during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Watching the U.S. Open or Wimbledon or the French Open when there's a major tennis event. I enjoy watching current affairs and news, and if I do get time of turning on Netflix and seeing whatever the an easy comedy to watch.
Do you have a favorite movie of all time, like something that reminds you of your childhood, a special occasion that you can watch over and over again? I'll tell you mine. Mine is Grease, because it was the very first movie I went to see a musical in Mauritius. I can watch that all over again, yeah.
So
How about you?
So you're a fan of John Travolta and his dancing?
Yeah, I loved it. I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, when I was young, I remember my grandfather took me to Rocky. I remember when I was young, I really loved the Rocky movies, but there's been so many great movies. I think of Gladiator, and that was a great movie. Dancing with Wolves, one of Kevin Costner's original, and the difficult times with indigenous communities in the United States. There's been a lot of great films and movies, and I wish I had more time to watch some of them.
So what is the biggest misconception about Patrick Brown that you would want to clarify from a perception versus a reality?
Well, the reality is I think everyone has their own perceptions, and sometimes they're shaped by what you read in the media. The reality is I'm a hardworking person that loves public service, that loves helping people, that loves making a difference. I come from a very close-knit family. My sisters are all very close. My parents were a very close family. I've got a fiancée, Genevieve, who also comes from a very close family. And we just all want to make the country we live in even greater and even better.
So what would you consider your biggest strength that will make you the best mayor of Brampton?
Work ethic. The reality is you make your own luck by working hard, and I think my determination and work ethic will create opportunity for Brampton, that we can really get the city back on track.
So any weaknesses that you're working on? Every one of us does. Maybe you're not so great of a dancer. You're trying to learn.
I'm a horrible dancer. My fiance's making me take dance lessons for our wedding. So yes, weaknesses. I've got zero musical talent. I've got zero dancing skills. but I guess I'll have to work on that. Maybe if I watched Grease more, I'd be better at have a better musical ear.
You should. Have you seen it? I'm assuming.
I've seen it, but
I've seen it at least, I don't know, 20, 30 times. Do you play an instrument?
I don't. I've never. I've got no musical talent to speak of. I was always into hockey and tennis and baseball and soccer. I loved all sports.
Favorite singer?
Generally, whatever the top 40 is, but if I run, I'll listen to music. My fiance loves country music, so it results in me having to listen to more country music than I'm used to.
So, what's your favorite form of exercise?
I guess if I had to pick one, it's hockey. I love hockey. I think it's a great sport. I love the teamwork and the artistry you can see in a game of hockey.
Well, folks, we got to know Patrick a little bit more on the lighter side. So, Patrick, any kind of call to action or last minute thing you want to tell the Bramptonians?
Well, I would say this is your democracy. This is your city. Participate. Vote. Be involved. You don't have to accept a city that's sliding in the wrong direction. You can help shape it. And every 4 years, you get to hire a mayor. You get to hire a city council. You get to hire a school board. And so the decisions that are rendered in the years ahead are frankly the direction that you have picked. And so I guess what I close on is have your voice heard. Be present, be engaged. If you want to get involved in my campaign, you can do so at votepatrickbrown.com or connecting with us on social media at patrickbrownont.
Patrick, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it, and good luck to the upcoming election. And I want to say special thank you to my fashion stylist sponsor, Susie Tomasi. Her website is susieqjewels.com, and a portion of her proceeds goes to the Women's Shelter. And also my makeup artist, Asiya Kamran. Please follow me on Instagram and subscribe to TAC TV. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Until next time.